welcome to a journey not through fate, but through feeling. To a deck that doesn't just whisper, it sings in Sanskrit, dances in colour, breathes in symbols of the sacred. This is Swagatam Tarot, where every card is a doorway, every number a rhythm, every suit, smoke, fire, earth, water and air, a prayer in motion. Aces raise their hands in ancient mudras. Fours dye the canvas of life with earthborn pigments. Queens walk beside you in animal form. And sevens trace the sacred lines of land and legend. Rooted in Indian philosophy and lush with meaning, this is not just a deck, it's a homecoming to intuition, to healing, to yourself. So breathe in, bow gently and step forward. Swagatam, you are welcome here.
My ducks, it's Simon here. Welcome back to the Hermit's Cave. Hope everybody's doing okay. Feels like a very long time since I've been here. At least a week, I think. Apologies, couldn't be at the cup of catch up. Couldn't be at it. I mean, I host it. I couldn't do the cup of catch up on Saturday. I was at a party, a leaving party of a colleague. But anyway, it's lovely to be here. And this game is a bit of a surprise. So as you all have heard from the introduction, we're here to explore this deck, which is Swagatam Tarot. It's not a new deck, but it's new to me. It's arrived today and it's been sent by the guys over at Red Feather for the purpose of review. Now, I seem to recall that when this was released or when it was in their catalogue, I did say that it would be a deck that I'd be really interested in taking a look at. And I just love anything that's of Eastern philosophy. As many of you all know, I studied Buddhism. In fact, I converted to Buddhism in 2003. And I've studied with the Brahma Kumaris. And I just have a real affinity with India and the deities, and I just love it. And I love their artwork and aesthetic as well. And I only saw a few images, but I knew that this tarot deck would appeal to me. So I was more than happy to say, yeah, I'd love to review the Swagatam Tarot. It's beautifully presented, as you can see here. I haven't watched any walkthroughs of this, because even though it's probably taken 18 months or so to get to me, I kind of in the back of my mind knew it was a deck that was coming eventually. And so I wanted to have that sort of experience of seeing the cards for the first time and sharing that with you. So looking at the back of this box, it says, "Welcome to the Swagatam Tarot." The word Swagatam means welcome in Sanskrit, which I was aware of that. Hence the little intro. Did you like what I did there? One of the most ancient languages of the world, based on Indian culture combined with the philosophies of Hinduism, the rich and unique images of this 92 card deck. So it's 92 cards because there is an extra suit, which is the smoke suit, which is to represent the ether. That's been done before, I seem to recall. I mean, one that springs to mind is Terra Volatile, which has a suit representing kind of like the ether. And in that deck, I don't use it because for me, when we think of the pentacle and the elements, the ether or spirit is often referred to, for me, is the major arcana. But, you know, we'll give it a go and see how we get on. So yeah, in this 92 card deck, it invites you to explore concepts of healing and self-exploration. I'm all for that. And have been around for centuries. The aces represent mudras or hand gestures explained through the card images, which act as a foundation to your work with yourself and others. An additional minor arcana suit, the suit of smoke, completes the energy of the deck with the fifth element of ether, encompassing space and sky. Those new to tarot, as well as seasoned readers, will find this engaging deck an important tool for gaining insight into self-development and well-being. So yeah, I'm really, really excited to have a look at that. And it mentions there about the aces, but from memory, each of the minors are linked. And also there are themes with the courts and themes with the major arcana cards as well. So I've just moved the camera down a little bit just so we can have a better look at the box and the packaging. It's one of those clamshell boxes with a magnetic closure. I do love this teal. I think it's really, really nice. So as we mentioned, Swagatam means welcome. And because it's welcoming us into that space of healing and self-discovery. So let's have a look. We've got the book, quite a nice chunky book. And then we have the cards. Oh, the cards are wider than a, let's try and get these out without, there we go. So it's got, I don't particularly like these, they're not that sturdy. But I think you can take them out. You can take them out, which I often do, and pop them in a bag, especially if I'm going to be using them quite often. I've actually got a beautiful Indian designed tarot bag as well. See if I can find it and show it you. So this is the bag, which is just gorgeous. And it was sent to me as a gift, but look how beautiful that is. And it's lined on the inside, so that would be lovely. And I've also got this box that I've had for a number of years. Let me see if I can zoom out a little bit. There we go. Which is also beautiful. I love this, but I don't keep anything in it currently. So maybe this is the new home with the bag for the Swagatam tarot. So yeah, let's have a look at the book. So there is an accompanying guidebook. I think it's around 200 pages, as you can see. Lots of information in here. We've got keywords for upright and reverse meanings. And then we get a little bit of information. Let's go to the majors. You seem to get more information there. So descriptions of the cultural and spiritual significance of each card is in here as well. Look at this. Wow. The artwork, look at that shadowy devil. It's like, almost like those finger puppets, isn't it? That you do with shadows, but like that. I think it has some spreads as well, maybe at the beginning, does it? Oh yeah, so we've got some spreads. We've got lifestyle spreads and elemental spreads. So there's 2 spreads in here that you can do before we go straight in with our cards. So that's the book. It's in matte, full page illustrations, which is really nice. So the cards, this is a thick, chunky deck, as you can see. Let's take the band off. Never a fan of these plastic bands because sometimes they can, but this is a soft one, so I doubt that does much damage to the card, so it's better than some that I've seen. These are the backs, very simple. I'm kind of, with backs, I don't like anything too elaborate. I like a tight pattern or something quite simple. So I like these kind of backs, but I do like plain backs with a simple design on there. So this obviously can be used for reversals as well. Let's pop that in the center. Might be able to bring the camera down a little bit more. Okay, so cardstock is a nice matte cardstock. As you can see, it's wider than a standard tarot, but it is smaller. Let's give a comparison there. So you can see the height difference. Oops, sorry, but the width. So I would say it kind of reminds me of Anna K Indie. No, it's a little bit taller and wider than Anna K Indie. It's a nice size. And I know people don't always like large cards, but this isn't larger in length, but it sits nice in my hand anyway. You do get on the card at the bottom what the reference is. So here we have Atma, which is the soul. And I'll just tell you what you get exactly in the book. So let's go to Atma. So this is the book, and it says keywords: beginning, obviously for the Fool, innocence, carefree, eagerness, pure, unpredictable leap of faith. So even though this is following a different kind of culture or tradition, in terms of the tarot references, they're still there so far anyway. And then it says Atma, or the soul, is the immortal energy. It is never born and it never dies. It simply exists and transforms into various other energies and life forms to gain experience on the mortal world, and in the end transforms back into its original state. And that's quite in keeping with Eastern philosophies as well. When I studied with the Brahma Kumaris, it was about souls incarnating. There is a supreme soul, and that repeats and repeats till lessons are learnt, and then eventually you go back to being part of the whole, the supreme soul, if you like. The Atma can be born as a human, a tree, a flower, a bird, a snake, a fish, a boar, or even as an ant. The journey of the Fool in the tarot is that of the pure soul, innocent, chaste, fully aware, yet carefree, embarking on the journey of mortal life. And I love that because this image is very detailed, but it's very beautiful, of that cyclical nature of the soul, as you can see here. Here's our magician, which is Maya. Beautiful, simple artwork there. And here the high priestess. So we have Chitta, mind and heart. What I like about the guidebook as well is that it gives you just enough. It very often decks can be quite, particularly new decks that we might not be familiar with, can be quite, when you go to the books, they can be quite complex. This book doesn't. It breaks it down and it makes it quite easy. So you can see here for the Empress, we have feminine beauty, lushness, fertility, cornucopia, and abundance. And we get that sense here from the design, I should say. And then just a paragraph or so of telling you a little bit about the card, who's in the card. Yeah, so it's all there, and it's done in a very easy to understand format. We have the Empress and the Emperor together there, look, that's beautiful. Here's our Hierophant. We have a keyword of rules. The Lovers, it's a beautiful card. And have you noticed how a lot of them are reversible as well? Almost like a mandala. And that's attachment. Make sure I'm back on normal. Yeah, I want to make sure the image is sharp. The Chariot, that's interesting that we have celibacy for the Chariot. So let's have a look what the Chariot says. The Vedas recommend, that's one of the, well, probably the oldest holy text in existence, the Vedas. It predates Hinduism, and that goes back thousands of years. The Vedas recommend that all humans should practice celibacy until the age of 25. From birth until the age of 25 is the time meant for study, for learning, and for amassing as much knowledge as possible, without any interest in sexual activities. It is said that the preservation of sexual fluids until that age helps with a preservation of divine energy that can be used to propel ourselves to excellence. The path of the brahmacharya is full of temptations and tests that the brahmachari needs to resist and control in order to fulfill his or her vow. So that makes more sense, because obviously it's talking about a path where you can be taken off the path by temptations, and then you have to have resistance and self-control in order to fulfill your vow and stay on that very narrow path. I also like the reference here, the black and the white, like the Sphinx in the Sphinxes, I should say, in the traditional tarot, RWS tarot. Strength, we have married life. Well, maybe you do need a lot of strength. The Hermit, notice the cards aren't numbered either, so that might help if you're fixed on things like strength being 8 or 11. Yeah, so the Hermit, we have the Wheel of Fortune here. Fate, we can see the dice. Justice, actions have consequences, so it's actions and consequences. The Hanged Man, human effort. Death. Temperance. The Devil. I love this Devil card. I think it is brilliant. We have Ignorance. The Tower is sin. I don't believe in sin, personally. The Star, intelligence and consciousness. There's the Moon, devotion. The Sun, potency and power. That looks like that Parvati. Oh, I mean, I want to say Shiva, but it's a very female looking. The Sun, the Sun, the Sun. It's Shiva, it is Shiva. Judgment card, wow, look at that. Liberation. And then we have the World, endless bliss. Okay, so I'm going to break the miners down into their suits, because they do have, they are linked. So let's go, so we have our cups. I need to make sure that I might have to bring the camera up. Of course, we've got 5 suits as well. Let me pause and get them into position. Okay, so hopefully they've all they're all in shot in the frame, beautifully aligned with each other. So the aces, as you can see, depict the different mudras, and in the book it says you can follow the imagery on the cards and make the respective gestures that you would like to use while meditating or relaxing. The fingers merely touch each other without the use of pressure or force. Non-participating fingers are kept loose and relaxed. Use both hands simultaneously. So, yeah, as you can see, this one here is the 3 fingers up, and then the little finger tucked away. So that's the aces, which are the mudras. And again, the book goes into each one. And then we have our 2s, and these explore the themes of duality and connection, reflecting the balance and interplay between opposing forces. Seeing them side by side like this is really, really useful. The 3s symbolise creativity, growth and expansion, which is exactly how I see the 3s, often associated with the manifestation of ideas and collaborative efforts. Also that expansion, that going in a new direction as well. I always think of the 3 like an arrowhead. The 4s. Now these are to do with dyes, natural dyes. So 4s illustrate natural dyes, delving into the symbolic meanings and cultural significance within Indian traditions. Then we have our 5s. 5s represent conflict, struggle and change, marking a period of challenge and transformation. Which, again, none of these are any different to how I associate the minors anyway, in terms of their numerological. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that for the 6 of smoke. Stunning. So the 6s embody harmony, balance and cooperation, indicating a movement towards resolution and stability. Sevens feature geographical elements, highlighting various landscapes and terrains significant to Indian heritage. That's like a little island or something. Got mountains here and the reflection in the water. This one not so much, but definitely here. Oh, this is different for the 8s. So the 8s showcase trees, emphasising their importance and symbolism in Indian culture and spirituality. I love the text in the background. And the 9s signify completion, fulfillment and fruition, representing the culmination of efforts and experience. And then we have our 10s, that's beautiful. These illustrations are really lovely. Denote the end of a cycle and the potential for new beginnings. Again, nothing's that killed here. Encapsulating themes of culmination and renewal. And then we have our chords. Look at these. They all seem to be like dancing and celebrating our pages. And we have our knights. It's just gone out of shot a little bit, hasn't it? I hope that's not done it all the way through. Now I know the queens in this deck, I love the colour, the queen cards, are animals or depicted with animals. You can see peacocks here, the tiger, the elephant, crow is it, and is that, I guess that's like a, let's have a look. I know that they're represented in animal form, which reflect the attributes and symbolism associated with creatures in Indian mythology and folklore. Let's go to the Queen of Cups. I don't want to tell you wrong. Yeah, it is a cow. Gentle being, sacred to all Hindus. It is revered as one's mother. And that's, you know, the holy cow within Hinduism is very important. And they're never eaten. Cows are treated as family members, and the Vedas mention how serving cows and petting them can cure numerous diseases. Cow dung is used as fertilizer and biofuel, while cow urine is used in medical preparations. Cow milk is considered second only to mother's milk, no lesser than an elixir. Krishna devotees follow the tradition of ahimsa milk, where cows are not tortured for milk and only the excess milk left after the calf has been fed is used. It is said that those who treat cows well will always be prosperous. So that's our queens, and then we have our kings. These represent order, discipline, power, and responsibility. I love that it's almost the same image, but with a different colour background and a different beautiful kind of geometric pattern here. Gorgeous, beautiful, beautiful deck. Really like this deck, and it's one that I think I will be able to use. I'll certainly get study out of the book, most definitely. So a few things just to kind of focus on. I like the cultural integration. It does delve into Hindu philosophies, beautifully interwoven with the major arcana. The images are simple but striking. The artistic element I really like. I think it has a perfect blend of traditional Indian motifs, but with a modern design as well. I love the use of colour in this deck. We've got some very dark cards and some very bright light cards. And yeah, I mean, very often, like I've got the Sacred India Tarot and the Buddha Tarot and different things like that. And I often think about, would this benefit beginners? And it does say on the back that it is for beginners. I've done that wrong, haven't I? However, what I would say to that is make full use of the book. Even, like I said, even though this has lots of cultural references, and some of, you know, this is the Six of Smoke. We don't know that suit. Oh, it's holly. I love holly. That's why we've got all the beautiful colours there. The Festival of Holly is gorgeous. You know, the other suits, when you read the meanings of them, they don't tend to stray too far from RWS meanings anyway. So I think it's quite simplistic in that sense. So our journey through the Swagatam Tarot is coming to a close. Thank you for exploring this deck with me. Do leave me your thoughts below. And like I said, it's been out a while. So if you've had this deck, let me know your experiences of working with it. I was going to see if there is a... I can't read. How are you meant to read that? That's the page with all the information on. But yeah, there's no way I'm able to read that. But I think it's been out at least around 18 months. But yeah, so thanks for exploring the deck with me. Leave me your thoughts below, particularly if you've got the deck and you've worked with it. How do you find it great for meditation or any sort of inner exploration work that it purports to do? Yeah, so thank you for being here. And remember, Swagatam, you are always welcome here. Until next time, go in peace. Namaste and blessed be.